Good morning, friends. It's May 29th, and this is your Zone 3B garden update. Looking like the garlic is really kicking butt here. Looking forward to harvesting some of this. And here are the tomatoes, which I've really planted a lot less than I would normally plant, but I'm hoping that I can avoid blight issues and have a really successful harvest of tomatoes this year. I got a little bit of lettuce kind of intermixed in there. I got some cucumbers and peas, none of which are popping up yet. But I got a lot of different varieties of tomatoes now. Just a lot less than I would normally plant. A row of basil and some pole beans coming up. They're gonna travel up around this guy and hopefully meet these pole beans here. And a bunch of bush beans. And there's some radish, which seems to be growing really slowly. And onions. And it got really hot here for the past few weeks, and then last night and probably tonight and the next night it's going to be in the low 40s, and the cucumbers here are not liking it. Not a bit. I did plant some more seeds in there, so hopefully those seeds come up behind what's there. But yeah, they're not looking really that great. So about this time of year, as usual, the tulip starts to die back. And I got a little ambitious and thought, all right, what can I put in here that's gonna kind of come up behind the corn, or behind the tulips? And that was corn. So I got a bunch of corn interplanted in here with the tulips. So just about the time these tulips completely die back, the corn should be, you know, close to knee high. And hopefully the corn doesn't destroy my tulips, but we'll just have to see what happens. My strawberries are already blooming. They're loving this little box here. And yeah, I'm kind of wondering if I should plant more corn, get it nice and thick in here just for pollination, but I mean, they're about spaced perfectly the way they're at, so we'll just have to see what happens there. And I got some more tomatoes. Just a few varieties, Roma and Valley Girl and Brandywine, that I couldn't fit in the other bed. I've got a bunch of different eggplants here. For some reason, these seeds that I got from seedsnow.com had maybe like a 25% germination rate. So a lot of my eggplants aren't big enough yet to even go in the ground. So, you know, otherwise I'd have this full and maybe this partially full of eggplants. But right now I'm just kind of waiting for them to get bigger there in the greenhouse. And I got some more cucumbers here that actually aren't doing so bad compared to the other ones. The funny thing is that these ones are just normal cucumbers. The ones in the other garden bed are supposed to be early cucumbers, which I would have thought would have been a little bit better in the cold, but they're not. And I got a little experiment here going on with watermelon. I got a few outside and a few inside the cold frame. So we'll see if being inside the cold frame actually helps them, or if it doesn't matter, or what the situation is. I've got a little bit of space on the end here, which is going to be for some melon. Since this area basically gets sun the entire day, I thought my melons and watermelons and whatnot could go here. But here I've got some zucchini and some pumpkins and more pumpkins, some buttercup squash, acorn squash, spaghetti squash, and zucchinis. And here's the cabbage. And I got some Brussels sprouts like towards the back there. And what's funny is I planted a bunch of peas along the perimeter of this fencing here, and I have yet to see any pop up. I don't understand it. Out at the farm, we planted peas 4 days after I planted them here, and those are already like 3 inches tall, so I don't understand it. All my flowers here are kind of getting, well, I don't know if these, I forget the name of these, hyacinths or crocus, I forget. But they bloomed one day, and now it looks like they made their seed pod, and I'm wondering if that's the end of them. Not too impressed with them if it is. My cherry tree has made a comeback after the deer assault last year. It's looking pretty good. Hopefully I get some good cherries on it this year. It'll be the first year it's producing, so I think this is like a 3-year-old tree now. And all my patience with the asparagus has really paid off. This year looks like I'm getting just a bunch of them. And it's just starting. Since I staggered the planting of a lot of these asparagus roots, I'm not exactly sure which ones I should pick or let grow, but so far I've just kind of been taking these bigger ones because those are the ones I like. But yeah, I'm really happy with the asparagus so far. And my apple tree is looking really pretty. It's already getting these blooms, and it's a nice little spot for the hummingbirds to rest on. They seem to really like this fence around here. And for anyone who's actually listened to my other videos, I've always had problems with radishes, and I don't really know why. I think a lot of times it's slugs, but I put down Sluggo this year for the first time, which has seemed to at least let them grow, but they're just so slow, and I don't understand it, you know. We've got a hoop house where, I mean, you can't, it's almost like the radishes grow like a weed, and here in my garden beds, they just don't seem to grow no matter where I put them. And we got some nice bok choy, kale's coming in. I planted, again, a bunch of seeds here from seedsnow.com, and there's nothing coming up hardly at all. I got a bunch of different kinds of beets and maybe 15-20% germination. Parsley hasn't come up. Just a few beets, and I replanted beets and carrots because, I mean, there's just hardly anything that come up. Lettuce and stuff, same kind of situation. Spinach is finally taken hold. I've got sweet potatoes that I planted here. Hopefully they make a comeback. These ones I planted right out of the shipping container, and here I've got more that I planted in the greenhouse, another dozen or so. So if these ones kind of die off, well, at least I got some in containers. I got a bit of dill here, and then this area here has got potatoes. Some of them are starting to break through. I got one breaking through right there, which is nice. My first time growing potatoes, so we'll see how they go. And my new raspberry bushes are looking pretty good. I'm happy with these ones. Whereas my blueberries just look like sticks sticking out of the ground. This one here is making some nice shoots. So we'll see how that goes. Looks like that one too, so let's see what's happening in the mushroom garden. We've had a little bit of rain, which usually helps these things sprout up. I'm not seeing anything. And it comes as no surprise that there's no mushrooms. Last year and this year, I don't know if the investment in time for making these things is worth it, because I barely got any mushrooms so far out of these. We'll just wait. And here I got some broccoli and cauliflower, and I put potatoes in there too. I haven't seen anything coming up yet for potatoes, but I have a feeling they will. In this little section here too, same thing, some potatoes, broccoli. And here's a strawberry patch that I put all the babies from the other little strawberry container I had. This area, it was kind of a recession in the ground, like a crater, and I filled it with horse manure. And I've done nothing but fight weeds in there constantly. Throw wood chips down, the weeds just come right through. Pull the weeds, put more wood chips down. I'd say that I would recommend never to use horse manure for anyone. It's just too weedy. And last but not least, our little chillaxation area it's not completely finished, but it's getting there. I just put up some fence posts yesterday and put concrete in there to make them nice and solid, and I gotta stain those posts and put up some different lighting. But yeah, I got a sandbox and a firewood box, fire pit, some benches, and the patio there. So I basically got all this done here for Mother's Day for my wife, and it's been a great area for us to relax as a family and enjoy. So, especially since all the stress of the world that's going on, it's nice to kick back here in the garden and enjoy life. Well, you all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Take care.